Hall of Famer Tito Santana, hoping to give.
Hello, hey guys, just 10 here with your 5 wrestling. What's your opinion?
And something like that than I have ever felt. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Till 5 Wrestling. I'm the Notorious ATB.
I'm Till 510.
And somehow we have finally made it to this live that the gods have not been working out for us. But the gods did make sure that we had Juice Box arrive. Hey!
I'm here, baby.
And his bestie, Danny.
Let's go. Can you hear me?
Half of the sharpshooters.
Here it is. Hello.
Someone that can handle the snarkiness of the Notorious ATB from Talking Wrestling with Paul Marder and Amy. We have Amy.
That's right.
Hello, hello.
And Professor Bear is not here. Hopefully he shows up at some point, but you know what? If not, he's just going to have to deal with whatever people are left. That's how this is going to work tonight, folks. Yep.
You get the leftovers?
Do what?
The leftovers?
Yes.
The leftovers.
He will get whatever 4 women are left at the bottom of the bracket, I guess. And I guess, but you know what? Here's the deal. If he's not here, he's not here. Juicebox and Danny, you guys want to play it separate?
Oh shit!
I will let you do that right now on the fly. If you
actually, I'd rather. Why don't we do it? Why don't we leave it as teams so this way we have a best of 3 vote?
That's a fair point.
Well, then we have viewers too.
Yeah. Only thing is because if he joins while we're doing it, it blows the whole kind of thing we're doing.
Yeah,
now
I feel kind of bad.
Oh.
All right. Fair enough.
I mean, he is late. It is his fault.
Yeah, it is his fault. So we have an open seat there, or we can let you guys play separate.
Who's coming in?
No,
I don't mind. It's your show, so I will default to whatever you gentlemen would like to do.
Play as a team. I don't care.
Okay, I'm open to whatever you want to do. Not my decision.
All right.
So there it is. Amy took Leilani Kai. So Bear's not getting a vote. Sharpshooters. Who are you going to take in this bracket?
Oh, in this bracket. Okay.
Okay. So let's see.
Call audibles.
Let me just defer to our rankings here.
I'm good with that too. Okay. What's it gonna be?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, Danny.
Cool. We're gonna go with Tony Storm, Timeless one.
All right.
All right.
We're gonna take China. Amy. We're just throwing out the original way we had the drafting half to this point because we don't have a 4th person.
Can I have the other side? The other brackets? Yeah. Okay.
We can.
Well, I feel like we're messing with Juicebox and Danny at that point.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Let's go ahead and finish one side and then we'll knock out the other one.
Yeah, I don't mind. If you want to go back and forth like with rounds, I don't care. It's whatever y'all want to do.
Oh, I'm new. I don't know either. I'll do whatever.
We're basically new too.
Our original plan kind of got tossed out the window, so now we're having to call audibles.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll take Lita. How about that?
Okay.
Amy's taking Lita. Sharpshooters?
You want to go with the other name, Danny?
Yeah, that's what I assumed, right?
Yep. All right. We're going to take Trish.
All right. Tanner? What do you want? We're taking Tara.
We're going to take Tara.
Okay, so now, do we leave the 2 here for?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's left with
we're typing it up.
Yeah.
So left on this board right now is Rhea Ripley and Alundra Blaze.
Cool.
Okay. So we can also include this board, as you guys know, and the viewers can see now. Who's got the next pick? Amy.
Oh, I do.
I think it's Amy. Yeah. No, it's not.
I took Alita.
She did.
And then they took, and then yeah. So it is Amy. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this topped up, dude.
Yeah, it is your turn.
Me.
Who is in the bracket with AJ Lee?
That's Oscar.
Oh,
Oscar.
I want Oscar. That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure. I want Oscar.
All right. So she's got Oscar. That is her sharp.
Dude, it's sharp.
All right. It's gonna go Amy, Sharp, us.
Yeah,
from now on.
we're just gonna keep it the same way that it was. We'll take that last spot.
Okay.
Bear fucked us. We'll fuck him.
Sharp on the board.
Okay, so Amy just went. Now we're up, right?
You're on the board.
Yep.
Okay, we will take Mercedes Monet.
Stalker.
What I tell you?
Oh.
All right. You know who it is, right? It's time to take her.
Who? Gail?
We're taking Gail Kim.
Absolutely.
I'll take Mickey James.
Shit.
Ooh. Ooh.
So, all right. So who's left? We have, is it AJ, Becky, Charlotte, and Kong? Those are the 4 left.
And we also have Alundra Blaze and Rhea Ripley.
Oh, so we can have those 2. Okay, I thought we were.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bear will get whoever's left.
Interesting. Okay.
If he even shows up. If he doesn't show up, I really hope that nothing's wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Too.
I'm just being my typical turd self.
Yeah. All right. Can you go back to the other bracket, please?
There we go.
Yeah, Danny, I think we have to.
I agree, just based on what we were saying. I mean, I just said to be the other backup, but I think we got to stick with that.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Cool. So then we're going to take Awesome Kong.
Ooh.
Damn.
All right.
We could do Alundra Blaze.
Let's take Charlotte.
All right, we're taking Charlotte.
We're going to take Charlotte. So that leaves Bear with or leftovers as
AJ
Lee, Becky Lynch.
I think Rhea and Blaze.
Rhea and Alundra Blaze.
Yeah. All right.
Well, okay.
If Joe Monroe happens to pop in at some point, he can come in here.
Oh.
What's this?
So this might be like the Royal Rumble. We don't even know who's going to come in the number 30 spot.
Yeah.
That guy.
I tell you what, if Crander Q wants to hop in here, I'll send him the link right now. And he can have the leftovers. If he wants to run his mouth about his beard.
Yeah. I've got the beard in podcasting, bro.
So for what it's worth, I mean, we do have 5 people here. We could always just make it each person gets a vote and do best out of 5, but that's just a suggestion. But
I'm fine with that, guys. It's supposed to be fun, so let's just have fun and argue this.
Oh yeah, we're just throwing ideas out since we're calling them multiples. Whatever you guys want, I'm totally in for or anything.
Oh, there we go.
All right, next bracket.
That is both brackets. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot it was on me.
That's right. Best beard in podcasting.
That is
my fault.
Oh, you doing that? Okay.
Yeah, we have a new producer.
We have a part-time producer.
Pivot producer.
Yeah. All right. So
here we go.
We have got Amy going up against the sharpshooters here.
Okay.
Is that how I did that?
Yes, you remember.
Which matchup are we talking about?
I was going to say thank you, Danny.
Sorry. Is it going to be Juicebox and Danny as a team, or is it going to be one Onions against Amy for Trish Stratus and Leilani Kai?
Ooh.
Yeah. So, Danny, do you want to take Trish and Kong? You want to do it that way?
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
All
right.
So Danny's going up against Amy. Lost tonight.
All right, so we're going to remove us and Juice from the stage, and we're going to let her rip.
Oops.
Wrong person.
All right. Oh. Now I don't know how this part goes, Danny. So you're gonna have to kind of.
I think we.
Oh, what? I'm on the clock. Okay. So my pick is Leilani Kai, and so when I'm talking or when I'm thinking about someone who's the GOAT, the greatest of all time, I want somebody with longevity. I want someone who's been in multiple promotions. I want someone who has treaded ground that was new. And you don't get any better than that than Leilani Kai. She started out at 18 after high school, went straight to Moolah's school. She thought that she was, she loved wrestling. And that was when women's wrestling was not a big thing. It was a sideshow. It was with the little people. She persevered. She went all over the country. She was in over 40 different promotions. She has been seen by multiple crowds, multiple countries, and there's just nothing like it. She's the reason why the Trish Stratuses and the Litas and the Alundra Blayze, those people can do what they do is because of her. She held both women's titles that the WWF had. She held the women's world title and she was a tag team champion. She also held NWA gold as a women's champion. So again, not only is she groundbreaking in all things that she was doing, but she was also seen as prestigious by her contemporaries. And that's my vote.
All right.
Danny, that was her argument. You're going to have 60 seconds here as well. So,
Already.
all right, I'm going to take me and Amy off the stage. And when you see your graphic, you've got 60 seconds from there.
So when we talk about the greatest of all time, we have to talk about, again, their entire career and how they started and what they got to and what they've meant for the industry. And Trish Stratus started from almost a joke who couldn't wrestle to becoming one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time, headlining a lot of WrestleManias, being a forefront for women's wrestling when women's wrestling was actually on the downhill, and she kind of revitalized it. That whole women's revolution, I really truly think Trish and Lita and Jazz and all them kind of started it. And Trish was always at the forefront. She was always defending that belt. She was trying to do actual matches. She was always improving her craft. By the end of it, she became literally a living legend. And when you think of women's wrestling from the Attitude Era, Trish is synonymous with that. And that's an entire era. And that's arguably the best era of wrestling ever. So one of the best women in the best era, I think, deserves to be the greatest of all time. Multiple women's championships, first woman to headline Monday Night Raw with Lita. The list goes on and on with what she's been able to do. All the storylines she got in, we talked about the triple threat WrestleMania match, just everything she's done.
There's the argument.
Okay.
We've heard Juice's argument for Trish Stratus, which is very relevant. I will give him that.
Yeah.
Or we've heard Danny's argument.
I was like, yeah.
This is good.
At least I caught it. Like, it took me a second.
I didn't realize my ventriloquism is like, you know.
I thought y'all were talking off stage. I didn't know
That's
what
the
was
only
going on.
thing we agree with, friends of the Squared Circle. I think it's a crying shame that all these marks who watch our show voted for Trish and did not put Jazz in the bracket.
Yeah, did you want to, I know we just did a whole thing. Do you want to vote on this and then maybe take a break and talk about the snubs or anything else? Or did you not want to?
Well, I figured we would get through the first bracket
And
then we'll talk about snubs.
Yeah, totally.
You just brought up the comment. It was relevant.
Yeah.
And then, Juice, I was thinking, let's make this a little bit easier. Since I argued, you vote, and then we'll kind of change it up every time. So this way, it gets a little both of us involved.
Bear's here. Hold on.
Oh!
He's here. Hey.
I apologize for being late.
What
Well,
happened?
What happened, Bear?
Look, we don't want to talk about what happened, but we're here now. That's all that
You went
matters.
back to that Chinese restaurant, didn't you? Didn't you? Well, I'm glad you made it. Unfortunately, you have been stuck with the leftovers from the
draft.
From the draft.
Well, that's fine because I'm a winner, and winners take whoever to make it the best.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
all right.
Yes, sir.
Bear is ready to rumble.
Do
So,
we want to tell him his four?
Bear, you have AJ Lee.
Damn, y'all. Wait a minute. You said AJ Lee. I realized y'all were not joking around when y'all said I got the leftover.
Oh,
Yes. You got AJ Lee, Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, and Alundra Blaze.
Oh shit! I'm really gonna win this then.
All right, we'll see.
Best of luck. Now that we have 5 votes, technically.
Yep.
4 votes. If we can't come to a unanimous decision, we have comments. We have someone to pull up the comments. So, Bear, Trish Stratus or Leilani Kai.
Alani Kai.
All right. Danny, Juicebox, did Amy's argument sway either one of you?
So just to be sure, so I know the layout now that Bear's here and all that. So even though we drafted Trish and Danny argued, do I have a vote here, or is there no vote?
You guys are together. You guys are together as a vote.
And we get a vote.
Bear's here now. You guys are a team.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure there was a vote here. I know at first I think it was there was no vote, but okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, let me text Danny before I speak for both of us then.
Well, I mean, you all can talk it out right here on the air. Me and
Yeah,
Tanner
just
will.
speak freely, Tom.
That's fine. All right. Well, I mean, I know we both voted for Trish. I mean, we both picked Trish for our pick here, so that seems obvious. But I'll admit, I apologize. I don't know ball on Leilani Kai. Like I've heard of her, I know of her, but I didn't start watching wrestling until like late 90s, like 98. And just I've heard of her. I didn't go back and like really watch tape or anything like that. So on me, but yes, I would say we're going with Trish. Do you agree, Danny?
I agree. I have watched Alani Kai because I did watch pretty much like early 90s is when I started. And my deciding factor personally is just I think by the end of Trish's career, she was a better wrestler than Leilani. From what I saw, it was also a different kind of type of wrestling, so it's hard to compare errors and like their styles. But I just do think with all the work Trish put in that she got there eventually. So for me, I think it's gonna be Trish too.
All right, Tanner. Well, hold on, Amy. Did they sway you?
No.
Fair. Very fair.
Again, I will say this: I take nothing away from Trish. She is a fabulous wrestling. But you did mention it, Danny. It's the era. She was a great wrestler during that Attitude Era, and I just think Leilani just, she supersedes an era. So I'm going to stick with my vote of Leilani Kai.
All right, Tanner.
Well, I think that Trish Stratus has produced in multiple eras outside of just the Attitude Era. But also, I think that as a Canadian citizen, I think that Trish Stratus should go forward as a fellow Canadian. So I think that, no, honestly, Trish Stratus, I'm kind of same as Juice. I didn't grow up watching Leilani Kai. And I have not, unfortunately, gone back and watched much like Juice. I know who she is and what she's done, but I never saw it. So I really can't speak on that. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Trish as well.
I'm going to say this. Amy swayed me,
Really?
because I did not realize how much Leilani had done before.
That's true.
And I get what you're saying to back up
No,
what
you're exactly right.
Amy has said, though, and why I think our vote should go towards Leilani Kai is because Trish Stratus was first a sex symbol and then got pushed into the ring in that era of man-on-woman violence. Leilani Kai was a women's wrestler on her own as a female wrestler that got a spot on the first WrestleMania.
You know what?
I
I've
she
been
did the
swayed.
NWA stuff. I'm like, all right, if she had that kind of accomplishments before, I'll give it to her.
I've been swayed.
So
we're gonna vote for Leilani Kai.
That's 3 for Leilani.
And let me say this, just to clarify something, just from my point of view. Trish Stratus started off as, like everyone said, just a piece of meat. No disrespect to her, but she's gained confidence and put her all into being a great wrestler. Now, one thing I will say about her, I think people overrate her a lot because of the era. It's not like she had a lot of different opponents. She wrestled the same people over and over again. And once you get a familiarity with an opponent, you can do so much more with them. And that's just, again, this is just my opinion. And that's why I always think when people talk about Trish being one of the greatest, I'm like, always had that feel to her.
Yeah, I was going to respectfully let it go, but that's totally wrong. Trish has had like at least 8 to 10 opponents in like the main event scene alone, plus all the extra opponents she's had. That's crazy to say that she had the same Lita, Jazz, Ivory, like the list goes, like Victoria. What are we talking about? I respect the vote, but that's just a terrible.
No, and I'm good, and I want to retort that. Like, Lonnie has been over the WWF, NWA, Independence, Japan. You cannot tell me that her accomplishments, maybe not title reigns or being in the big scene, as long as Trish, her accomplishments and where she's done it at the time too, where women's wrestling was underutilized, not looked at as equals as men, and she still came with that type of accomplishment. Again, this is just my opinion, and I just want to.
Well, I don't.
And again,
I don't
Attitude Era
want
was
to-
chock full of great women's wrestling and respect for women all throughout. You're right. That's crazy.
We can get into this more in the people that didn't make it. That's fine. I don't want to have Juice Box here till midnight tonight. Yeah, we don't want to be falling asleep on the live.
Right.
Let's go ahead and get into the next one.
Keep it moving.
We've got Rhea Ripley against China. That means that we're going to have just Professor Bear and the guys that he was late to be on the air with. Huh. Ain't that real sweet of you?
Yeah, I love you, Bear Man. You know that.
I love y'all.
So, Bear, we will let you go ahead and be first. That's fine. I'm going to hop off here. Once you see the Professor Bear WSN logo, you've got 60 seconds to make your.
So, we can talk about all the different accomplishments of Rhea. Rhea is the only woman who has captured every single major WWE championship. She captured the the Europe title, NXT, both versions of the women's championship. She's wrestled men. She has dominated as she is dominated as a personality. Her promo skills are unmatched. She has done so much for the women's division and for wrestling, period. The three-way was amazing this year.
It was an amazing three-way. I like Rhea. She's great,
Yeah,
but
it is great.
you know, let's just be honest here.
No, it's our turn.
So the only reason that Rhea Ripley is relevant is because she's basically a ripoff of Chyna. Chyna was the first woman to get in there and actually beat up men and make it look realistic.
The only female intercontinental champion.
The only female intercontinental champion. She's in the Hall of Fame, needs to be a multiple-time Hall of Famer. Probably the only woman that has that distinction. She managed to get into Playboy, twice?
Well, that's not.
No, it is relevant because you don't become that big of a celebrity without being relevant in professional wrestling. And that makes her a more important person, in my opinion.
Great trailblazer.
She was a trailblazer.
Chyna walked so Rhea could run.
Yeah, so it's a really simple argument for us.
Yeah.
The only reason Rhea's here is because of Chyna. Not sorry.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Well, do we have any ability to retort?
Well, you can as you vote. So, Bear, did we make an argument enough to sway you?
No.
Mm.
And the reason and the reason being that Rhea isn't running. She is, pardon my French, she's fucking the Flash. Because anywhere she goes, she turns heads. She has done so much. No disrespect to Chyna and what Chyna has done, but you put Rhea anywhere in the wrestling world. Hell, it don't even have to be a wrestling world. Look at what she does today. She is super popular. One of the first females to have
the only reason that Chyna didn't get to be a bigger star is because her boyfriend started banging the boss's daughter.
And what
So
does
Chyna would have been the most famous women's wrestler ever if she hadn't gotten the shaft several times in that company.
coulda, woulda, shoulda? It's not the point. The point is what is happening
What's
between
happening
them today. And let's since you brought it up, because I wasn't, because she got banged several times does not mean she is the greatest. Because look,
That wasn't the argument.
That's not what we said.
No, we said that because she got cheated on and tossed to the side, she got dropped down the card.
again, that's not the point.
It is relevant.
I think you saw about Playboy, which is not the same as porno, so that's the confusion.
No. To get on the cover of Playboy, you have to have celebrity status. To have celebrity status in professional wrestling, you have to be relevant.
Can we move on to other votes?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're sticking with our initial votes. Sharpshooters.
So I didn't really get a chance to say it last matchup because I didn't want to speak out of turn, not being familiar with Leilani Kai. But for me, like when it comes to the concept of the greatest wrestler of all time, me personally, I'm not really putting that much weight on like championships and accomplishments and whatnot. I really am looking at the body of work of in the ring what they can do, how they can talk, how they can present themselves and carry themselves. To me, that's the package of the greatest wrestler. Yeah, you can have all the belts in the world or none of the belts in the world. Doesn't change it. So again, that's just my personal opinion. So I know it'll come up more throughout the night, but
just really quick, I completely agree with Juice. We were talking about it, and just like and not throwing shade at her because she is a good, I think, in-ring wrestler at times, but like Charlotte Flair would be the greatest of all time because of the championships already. So like that's why we're not really factoring in the championship part. We're factoring like everything besides that. So yeah, we're on the same page with
that.
Yeah, I mean, championships are props. Let's be honest.
Part of it, yeah, but not the deciding factor for us.
But again, it is a part of it, and see, that's where the thing comes in. It's what you look at is what's important to make that person the greatest.
Exactly.
And that's the point of having different shows and different point of view.
Oh yeah, and for sure, like I said, I'm giving it has weight. I don't really put it up there as like the be all end all.
No. And that's why I'm saying that with all of us, we have different rankings and what makes them the greatest. So I'm not that I'm arguing with you. It's just I'm just putting it out there. Everybody looks at things different.
We want you to argue with us, Bear. That's why you're here.
No. Exactly. That's why we're arguing. But what I'm saying is the importance, the way we do our rankings, gonna go with the way we see things. Look, I'm the oldest one here, so I've seen more people probably live than anyone. But that is a different, because y'all may not have seen them and just went to research them, so it's gonna mean a little different than me seeing someone live.
Yeah.
So how old are you, Bear? Now that you said that, I want to know.
I am 51.
Okay.
He is 22 years old.
No, I'm proudly 51.
I was waiting for you to drop that. That would have been great. Well, okay, so just going back to it, wrapping it up, Danny and I, we talked throughout the debate and a little bit after. We're in agreement. Just, again, based on the full package of what they can do, while China was a spectacle for a time in which she did, we are going with Rhea Ripley. We think she's the better wrestler in the ring. And
that's fair. I get it.
No, she is. I mean, China could do the few power moves, but like just the skills, and we can get into this more later, but the skills from then to now just evolved so much to change what a wrestler, especially a female wrestler, can do in the ring in terms of being featured now and presented. Yeah, Rhea, in our opinion, is definitely the better wrestler than China.
Thanks, douchebags. Amy, what about you? What's your vote?
I will say this. When we did our little ranking, as an individual, China and Rhea, neither one of them made my list because I think Rhea is too young to be considered greatest of all time. I think she is on the trajectory to be. I think China, she was called the ninth wonder, and I think she's in her own category for the simple fact that what she was doing in an age of bra and panties and pudding matches and whatever else they could do was beyond what the other ladies could do. Only her physically could get in that ring and be an Intercontinental Champion, first woman to be in the Royal Rumble, those kind of things. So thinking about that, and like you said, Juicebox, I'm looking at someone, if I'm going to call them the greatest of all time, it just even while, like I said, I go back to Leilani Kai, I don't think you can be in one promotion. I think you need to have several different audiences. I think you need to be able to know several different kind of wrestling styles and travel and doing that kind of thing. So my vote is going to be for China. Between China and Rhea, I think China is the one that, I really like what you said. China walked so Rhea could run. And that is very true. She put herself Yeah, she put herself in the ring and did those things to show that there was an audience for that.
Yep.
And
So-
that has allowed our women to be
Just to be-
wrestlers.
Just to be
Sorry.
clear, we're going to continue this discussion. That's fine. At the 36-minute mark, whatever comment has come in for a vote, whatever the next comment in for either Rhea Ripley or China,
Oh,
those two will be the one that goes on.
all right, guys. Let's see
So-
what you got. Or ladies, let's see what you
Feel
got.
free to continue the discussion here.
Damn you, Josh, coach.
What?
I think Josh missed the memo, but he's right. But he missed the memo.
You
Yeah, Trish has already been eliminated. Josh,
I'm gonna
Who we got?
you gotta pick between Rhea
Ripley
and China.
and China.
I have a dog named China.
So it's not a
why-
tabulation of everybody. It's just the first to vote in.
Hey!
Uh-oh.
We're
have a
tied.
China.
Did my mom just come through? Let's go, Mom. Thank you, Mom.
Danny, we
Okay.
lost you on camera, Danny. Just heads
And
up.
we have 2 China votes there, folks. It's official. It's China. China has defeated Rhea Ripley here, just like she should have.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Mom,
And thank you, Josh.
and thank you, Josh,
Yes.
and fuck you, Juice,
And
Professor
Yeah. Danny, you're still cool.
Yeah, we love you, Danny.
Thank you.
Oh, so next it's us against sharpshooters. Tara and Tony Storm, you're working all that. If I'm gonna have, or do you want to argue, Tara?
And you know what's great?
I don't
That's it. I'll
Since you hate him, I'm gonna let you argue with Juice for this one. Good luck.
here. Oh no, you are.
Okay, we got this.
All right. You know the spiel. You got 60 seconds once your logo's up.
Oh, I'm first. Hi. So one thing I want to say up front is that I don't think somebody being newer or younger should disqualify them from being part of the greatest of discussions. I mean, they're here for a reason. And my kind of hot take overall with this is that I really don't think most of the best women's wrestlers in the world didn't really come along until the last 10, 15 years. And I really believe that because they didn't get to be featured. They didn't get presented. And that's not our fault as fans. We just didn't get to see it. That being said, I do think Toni Storm is legit the best one going today. 4-time AEW Women's Champion, most all-time of anybody. She won the Mae Young Classic back in 2018. And while she didn't get her fair shake in WWE, she ended up getting a NXT UK Women's title reign. But then she came over to AEW and completely transformed and became what she is today. And it's amazing. She's always been great in the ring. She was always good on the mic, but then this character that she just absorbed and dove into has put her on a whole different level over everybody else. And I think she's that damn good in the ring. I think she gets it. The crowd is hooked on her. She's over. And I think she deserves her flowers. And even though she's still going today, there's nothing wrong with calling somebody that's currently wrestling legit the greatest of all time. Because I personally think they're among us. Whether it's Tony or someone else, I think they're currently going today.
I mean, we are both avid Toni Storm fans
Those are
here.
big fans. Yeah,
Yeah, so
big fans.
I get it. So I get the love. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Just do WWE.
All right. So you've got Tara, who was somebody that decided she wanted to be a wrestler in an era where women weren't professional
Yeah.
wrestlers.
As Victoria.
First off, she comes into the WWE, WWF at the time as a Godfather's hoe, is part of that, and then ends up working in Memphis Championship Wrestling, WCW, or working with WCW wrestlers like Miss Hancock. She was one of the first groundbreaking actual women's wrestlers who had in-ring ability, not just a piece of eye candy or just a girl that could do a head scissors takedown from the top turnbuckle. Trish Stratus, I'm looking at you.
Well, I think it also goes back to what Amy mentioned earlier with Rhea Ripley, is that Tony Storm just doesn't have the body of work. She's not been around long enough to be considered the GOAT. Could she be that? Absolutely, but time will tell. But to what you didn't say, she became Tara when she went into TNA during the big forgotten women's wrestling revolution with Awesome Kong and Gail Kim. Had great matches with every single person. Had pretty fun storylines, except for the one with Winter, but we don't have to get into that one. And I know championships don't count, but she racked up championships everywhere she went. And she's just a good hand and a great wrestler, like Aaron said, in a time when
women's wrestling wasn't really relevant.
Wrestlers.
We can talk about Lita and Trish Stratus, but Tara was in there with all of them throughout that, and then she went into TNA and helped revolutionize women's wrestling there. And it's a damn shame she's not in a wrestling Hall of Fame.
There you go. That's the basic gist of it.
Sorry.
So since we've been doing the two people who go vote first, I'll just take the first vote just to do a quick rebuttal. That I want to add that I just also, as much as I love Victoria, and I really do love Victoria, and that's a thing that me and Juice argue over. To me, Victoria was never the woman. Like, if you're going to be the greatest of all time, you at least had to be the best in your time, which she never was at any time. She was a good hand. She was good in the ring, but she was never the main star of the women's division. Where Tony, you can argue, and I am going to argue, is the best gimmick in this entire tournament. The best gimmick of the whole tournament has to be Tony Storm, even currently as she's going. So I'm going to stick my vote with Tony Storm.
I agree with everything you said.
Unfortunately, yes. We both agree with that.
You know, Aaron mentioned it while you were speaking. Tara or Victoria, whatever you want to call her, she was kind of like
the Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
Of that era.
Yeah.
Having great matches with everybody, but never quite the woman.
Here's the thing. Like, Tony is a great gimmick. She is the Hulk Hogan in AEW for women's wrestling. She's a great
Don't
gimmick.
insult her. I would not allow you to insult her like that.
He doesn't even believe it when he says it. He's just trying to get a pop out.
Well, you know who else was a great wrestler?
I was with you. I'm like, thank you. And then you said Hulk Hogan. I was like, oh, God.
Why is this name on the screen? Get him out of here.
No, get him off.
Fuck Bill Goldberg.
What is this shit?
Look, I'd rather see Bill than Hogan.
I'd rather see Hogan twice than Bill Goldberg. That son of a bitch kicked Brett in the head.
You're dead to me.
I don't think
Hulk Hogan's garbage. Either.
All right, so what's your official vote, gentlemen?
Honestly, I'm going to stick with Tara myself.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Tara.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Tara. I love Tony Storm, but she's not the GOAT for the same reason that
to
Maria
me,
is.
Tony Storm is the greatest active women's wrestler right now. But we don't know if she's the GOAT yet. And Tara has that body of work to back it up.
Hold on. So just so I understand, you're picking someone who's never been the greatest active of their time over who you just said is the greatest active right now. I just want to be clear.
Ronnie Kai was never the greatest of her time either, but she.
You know what? The sigh you both let out before you said Tara was enough for me. We can move on to Amy there.
Look, we didn't want Tara, but I do acknowledge, and I honestly think that in an all-time span, Tara was relevant in multiple companies for a longer period than Tony Storm has been. Tony Storm has a really hot gimmick.
All right.
That is a gimmick. One gimmick. That doesn't mean it'll last forever. I love timeless Tony Storm, but it may not last forever.
Bullshit. I call bullshit on that because Tony Storm did for herself. The pre-WWE stuff is amazing. Go look at Stardom and look at the work she did. That's why I was like, y'all just saying that to have an argument.
Thank you.
That's what we're here for, Bear.
And look, if you're gonna do it right. Make it challenging. Don't just throw up anything and just think everybody's gonna fall for it. Crap.
I will. My point is,
don't be Vince Russo, all right, bro?
Come on.
That's it.
I feel like Tony hasn't proven that she's going to be as relevant.
She isn't
Maybe
relevant.
later.
She
You're
look,
digging a hole.
she is super relevant. She's more relevant now than Tara in her whole career.
So
It's
you're going to take
happening
Tara,
before
or
our
you're going
very
to
eyes. Every
you're taking
week.
Tony.
We're living through the great
Yes.
now.
My mom even said we're full of shit.
All right,
This is
Amy.
what the hell is going on here, Mom?
Amy.
Damn it.
Amy, are you going to go with Tony Storm or Tara?
I'm going with Tony Storm.
Okay, well, all
Right,
right.
moving
And
on.
Yeah.
yeah.
Re-
Well-
remember this. Mom knows best.
I think you all have great arguments. Really is. I think what really tips Tony Storm for me is this timeless gimmick. That is, you really need to be great to pull this off, to buy into that, to present it. That could have fallen so flat. That could have been a disaster. And she has absolutely 100% put everything
Unfortunately,
into it. And I
when
think
we draft, we're not going to get our favorite four.
Oh,
so
yes.
Oh, of course.
We do agree. We just
I
have
do
to
think, depending on who, again, depending on who she's up against, I think you had a great argument for Victoria. I really do.
For
And
sure.
so, but it just so happens that's not who, she would have get someone else that's just doing some really great work now.
So
He's not single, Mom. Okay.
Wow. All right, next up.
we've got Lena and Alundra Blade.
Oh, yes.
All right, so we're gonna get Bear and Amy, the two most civil ones of the bunch.
So far.
Ladies first.
All righty. All right. I think my argument is going to be very similar to my other previous arguments. Lita is another person that was an innovator in the wrestling business. She started off, she decided she wanted to learn wrestling. She went to Mexico and she studied there. And she did what the luchadors did. And she took that and did that, brought herself back up, went to different promotions, was seen in ECW, came over to WWF, and again, revolutionized what women were there to do. She was doing things, again, yes, she might have got involved in bra and panties, but she was also a fighter. She was also wrestling. She was doing the moonsault off of the top rope. And she has continued to open those doors for the future women of there is more than just, being on here, looking, again, pudding matches or whatever things that they were doing. You can fight, you can wrestle. And she has continued to do that even after the fact, now that she has retired. My time went off. I don't know if it was supposed to go off, but am I supposed to keep talking?
So when you talk about the greatest of all time, the name Alundra Blaze or Medusa always comes up. Medusa started in the late 80s and set a trail that is still felt and appreciated by women everywhere today and the males. She has been whatever she has been put in, she's knocked it out of the park. Whether her being a wrestler and the WWF had her as champion against only a few opponents, she carried that company to WCW. Whether she was managing Rick Rude Wrestling Men, when she dropped the title, the infamous title drop in the garbage can, Alundra Blaze has did it all. And whatever they wanted, whether they want her be eye candy, which being a talker, being a wrestler, she was the complete package and made it where everyone today still talks about her and super relevant. So there's truly no argument when it comes to Medusa being the greatest of all time, because she quite literally is. Name one aspect of her career she cannot and has not done and knocked out the park.
I'm cracking up at where I made your logo entirely too big. It covers your face up.
Bro, every time I am cracking up.
You Mike Wazowski'd him.
Look, I'm not offended because everybody can't look at gorgeous all the time. So it happens.
If Bear would have showed up on
appreciate you
time,
giving
we
us
would
a
have
break
had.
once in a while.
If he had showed up on
Say
time,
it all over again every time we see it.
If he had showed up on time, we would have had time to adjust that. But now
That's true. That's
we're
true.
going to keep it.
Bye, Randy.
That's what you get. And I laughed so hard I gave myself a cramp there.
That's what you get.
All right, voting time. Lita and I've already forgotten who it was.
Wow.
No, my brain was drawing a blank. Like I remember Medusa. No.
Alundra Blaze and Medusa are the same person.
Yes, I know this.
Okay.
Jesus, white boy.
We're falling off the rails already.
All right. So, Bear, did Amy sway you?
It was a good argument, but no.
Amy, did Bear sway you?
I love Medusa, but she spent more time in Monster Truck than she did wrestling. Just FYI. And she's a damn good monster wrestler. I mean, she is a goat of a woman, if you ask me, because again, anything she does, she puts 100% in it. But she spent more time in Monster Truck Rally and wrestling than wrestling. So
wait a minute, hold on. Well, one thing I would say that's not true, because she started at 88 and she continuously, because she started in the AWA against Sherry Martel,
who was left off this list, which is an absolute.
Well, yeah, that's something totally different. But she went into the early 2000s, so that's over. So her monster career wasn't that long.
It was 2 decades.
So
her monster truck career was 2 decades.
For what it's worth, me personally, at least, I don't let that factor in at all. But that's just my opinion. I understand what you're saying here, but most of these people probably haven't wrestled as much as they've done other stuff.
Right.
I get it, but sorry to put a kibosh on that. I don't really. That doesn't do much for me.
All right. So I'm also going to go with Medusa here, though.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt my feelings. I think she's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's it for Medusa. Now we're going to go back up to Leilani Kai.
I think they took yours as a vote, so which is
yeah,
fine.
I guess so. We didn't.
I'm sorry.
No,
No,
it's cool.
No. We vote for Blaze, but we didn't formally Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Blaze. Sorry.
That's fine.
All right. Oh God. I don't like this because Amy's gonna beat us.
She's going to dismantle us on this one.
Oh,
I didn't see it. What is it? No.
China versus Leilani Kai.
Oh, whoa! Oh, wrong person.
She's up top.
Yeah, add the stage. Oof, stage. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's Leilani Kai against China. And I don't even know that we're going to have 60 seconds to argue. God, you're taking this one.
So China, we talked about it before, what she's done.
Look,
And really,
not just women's wrestling. China was able to wrestle both men and women. So I'm willing to argue that makes her more relevant than Leilani Kai in women's wrestling, because China was able to break ground and get more women exposure when there were no women. It wasn't a just slot for women on the card because they had a celebrity bringing on WrestleMania.
So I do think that Leilani Kai, because of what I said earlier in the original argument, because of longevity, is a big one for me. But she never really got that mainstream exposure that China had. China really trailblazed the industry and laid the groundwork, kind of what Aaron said. But I almost concede on this one, though, because I know we're going to get stomped into the dirt, but we're about to find out.
I would not stomp you in the dirt, I promise. No, what I just want to say, again, like my previous argument, Leilani Kai is the type of wrestler that I believe you can call greatest of all time, looking at her body of work. She started at 18, went to Moolah's wrestling school, traveled all over the country, different promotions to hone that craft. Because you're right, there were not a lot of women that were out there wrestling. She had to want it. And I understand what you were saying about the publicity, but she was the opponent for Wendy Richter in the first WrestleMania. And she was the champion at that time. So she did have some exposure as the heel, I guess you could say. I think China was a trailblazer. And again, if she had continued with wrestling, don't know what she could have been able to do. But there was nothing that Leilani did not do or try. She was out there with the boys. She wrestled. She had to practice with the boys. And again, I just think her work speaks for itself.
I actually agree with you. Everything you said.
I'm just gonna. We've been talking about this here on the side. You have came in way more prepared than we had expected.
Okay. Explain that.
You had a reason for picking her as number one. So
yes.
I'm guessing that we didn't sway you, China.
No.
Well,
you did sway us.
You did sway us.
Leilani Kai. Sharpshooters?
Yeah.
Okay. No, we were just discussing just to make sure we're on the same page. So we will say part of it is just because we're not big Leilani Kai fans in general, but also the other part of it is that the argument from the last round for China is kind of where we're going with this round, which is funny because we voted against China last time for Rhea Ripley. But that argument, I think, for us, because we know less about Leilani, kind of goes through where she was the ninth wonder of the world. She was literally one of a kind. And when you think of like women in history of wrestling, I think of China over Leilani for whatever reason you want to argue, but I do think of China over Leilani. So we're going to go with China.
Bear.
It's just, it's hard. It's just a matter of, I don't know her. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not a hater. Just, I can't, how can I say someone's better than someone that I don't know? That's my fault.
For me, it's, as much as I do, don't get me wrong, I love China, everything she did for the business and everything. There has to be the people who come before them, and they had to do something to put some kind of magic. They had to suffer for the next generation to be able to do something more and go further. I think everything that Leilani Kai did is really underrated. A lot of people don't know her story, and I think that she is one of the people that really deserves more than what us wrestling fans give her. So I'm going Leilani Kai.
Well, there you go.
There we go. Leilani Kai is going to go on. We probably shouldn't have been swayed there.
Yeah.
Especially because in the chat, you already got a China vote too, man.
You know, we would have pulled that off, but here we are. So
the argument for Tara.
Alundra Blaze and Tony Storm. Ooh. Oh,
Ooh, that's
I
a good
did upgrade our update our background to our sponsors, Stover's Liquidation. They have locations in Oak Ridge and Cookeville, Tennessee. As you can see, they're on both of the brackets. We are going to go over everyone's sponsors and all that stuff that I asked you guys for graphics for after the first bracket. Don't worry. So, which one of you all is going to be battling the bear?
It'll be me. Wait, no, was Blaze the bear? I thought Blaze. Oh yeah, never mind. I thought Blaze was. Apologies.
And I will let you go first, sir.
Thank you. So again, I want to just reiterate that I think it's important that we recognize that greatness can be happening right before us, ongoing, because we're now in the second round, so we're past the point of, in my opinion, who's better than who, and now we need to start talking about, in the second round, who are the greats among us that are or have ever been. And I mean, while I don't know all of her stuff, I know more about Blaze than Leilani. I will say the only thing that she ever gets talked about is the belt and the bucket, and that's your defining thing. Like, then that says a lot about your career and your body of work. Yeah, okay, you can be one of two for the time, like Trish and Lita, and mean something, but like it's even important now to stand out and stick out amongst all the women talent going today, because there are a lot that are really good, but there are very few that are great, and Toni is among those great. What she can do in the ring, the commitment to the bit, never breaking when she cuts her promos. And honestly, some people may not agree with it, but even if you take away the timeless gimmick that she even had, even before that, she was very good, but just didn't get the opportunity to become great until this.
So we're gonna talk about complete body of a person. As I love timeless Toni Storm, Medusa went at a time where there were really no women that were giving opportunities. She kicked in the door and took her opportunity. She was with one of the greatest, arguably one of the greatest groups of all time in the Dangerous Alliance, and was a key member of that. And it wasn't just her looks, it was her athletic prowess. Yes, she gets talked about for the title drop, but why was that so important? Because of the trail she blazed in WWF at a time where women's wrestling was seen less than. She put it on the map and did so much work. And even today, you can argue her presence is felt. She does work with the NWA. She still gets recognized with WWE. She still, at her age today, can wrestle men and look so amazing.
I enjoyed you bobbing around the logo there. That was appreciated. So there it is, Toni Storm. Juice box. Since Danny's muted, I'm
on mute. My bad. I didn't realize I was muted. Shut up. So the only thing I will say as a quick rebuttal before we vote, because we're gonna stick with Toni.
Hey, Danny, before you vote, what's 7 times 7?
I don't want to tell you. 49.
Okay, now spell platypus.
I'm not doing this. So, more time. So the only thing I will say for a rebuttal, and I have to, because I just realized while he was arguing, I have to use his own argument against him from the first round, is Alundra Blaze or Medusa, whenever she was, she only had one other or two other people to wrestle with, and that's actually legitimate. It was either her and Bull Nakano for like 5 years in WWE, or her and I don't even know who in WCW, because you can't name me another one.
Bull
Nakano again. So it's really easy, like he said, to get good when you only have one person to dance with. Toni Storm has been dancing with everybody and killing it with everybody. And if you want to put up her best match against Alundra Blaze's best match, I think you're going to see who the winner is there. So we're sticking with Toni Storm.
And let me rebut that. When in WCW, legitimately, she
Get
only
Ed Ferrara to wrestle. Get it right.
she had not that many women to wrestle, but she did wrestle the men on several different occasions and was the WCW Cruiserweight champion at one point.
There was no women to fight.
And that's what makes it even better that she won a men's title at a time where we put up China winning the Intercontinental Championship as a thing. She doesn't get her just due when she won and defeated many of men on WCW.
So Bear is sticking with Alundra. Amy, Alundra, or Tony?
Okay, this is a hard one, but I will say this, and I am, and maybe it's because I'm closer to Bear's age than maybe Juicebox and Danny's age. I'm going with Medusa. I think that she is just.
We're gonna be going to the fans again.
I really do. I know. I think that she, again, looking at greatest of all time, she did. You're right. She only was able to wrestle with a couple of women. Huh?
Till 108 on the live clock up there, we can get a fan vote in here for this last one because we're going with Tony.
That's right.
I'm letting you finish.
I was just going to say that.
Well, we can leave it open.
Medusa had to be inventive. She had to be creative because she had to be a manager. She had to, do those kind of things because she did not have the women to wrestle. She wrestled men. She did all these different things. And again, it goes back to they're walking so our ladies can run. And I mean, again, and maybe because I did see Medusa, I, was able to be part of her journey. I've read her book, that kind of stuff. And I just think that she deserves that. And so that's my vote is for Medusa.
And the one thing that a lot of people don't talk about and I should have brought up, she actually had a career in Japan. She wrestled in Japan.
Yeah. Well, and I get the appreciation for Medusa and winning a men's title, as Bear was saying. Unfortunately, the only reason that she won that is because Vince Russo was the one riding WCW at the time. And that was pretty much the worst era of WCW, and we all admit to this. Like, she was pouring barbecue sauce on a rider's chest while she was the Cruiserweight champion. So I'm gonna stick with Toni Storm. Do we have any fan votes here?
Yeah, you have 4 for Toni.
Wow.
4 for Toni Storm. Tony's going on to the finals of this bracket against Leilani Kai.
Oh, shit.
All right. Which one of these is going up against her?
Different eras of wrestling, man.
Yes.
It's still me. I got Tony in this.
Yeah,
so. I mean, unless Danny, just a pause. Actually, Danny, do you want to give it a go? I've gone the last 2 rounds.
You're running with it. I'm getting the rebuttal. You're good, man.
Okay, I just wanted to give you the chance. Yeah, I don't know.
I guess I'll go first. So again, I'm sitting here. I'm asking you to consider Leilani Kai as the greatest of all time. Yes, Toni Storm is a wonderful opponent. But she is, again, like we've talked about before, she is running. She is getting to do these things. She is getting to do all this stuff because of the women like Leilani Kai in the background who did all this and forged a way for women to have women's wrestling. She wasn't the best. She was a title holder in the WWF and the NWA. So she traveled quite a bit extensively all around the country. She was in Egypt. She was in Japan. Wherever she could go to do her craft, that's where she was. And again, I cannot help but say she laid that foundation. Those women laid the foundation for what we see now in women's wrestling.
Please continue that statement, Tanner.
I didn't know that people wrestled in Egypt. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
They wrestle
I've
all
never-
around the world.
I have never heard of anyone wrestling in Egypt,
Yeah.
so that's pretty
You
cool.
you never heard about TNA?
Did TNA do a show in Egypt?
They had a whole separate thing in
That
Egypt.
That was in India.
Oh, my bad. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
Rinka King was in India. Yeah. Have you ever heard of TNA?
I really want to hear about that Egypt
Obviously.
division for a second, bro. I was all ears.
You
Look,
know what the
Barry,
T stands
Barry
for?
messes up to
Cut.
Man.
Cut. So, all right, Amy.
Hey, what? Stop.
Well, sorry,
They have
sorry.
to do
Juice
there.
wants to-
What, you gonna give Juice Box his time?
Yeah, what's
Sorry,
happening?
sorry.
Some shenanigans going on tonight.
Look, I know what it is. I know what it is. He's like, well, shit, you're gonna win anyway. Yep.
All right. So I have all the respect for the foundation and the Trailblazers, but if we're here tonight voting for the greatest, and in your own argument you can't even say that she was the best, how can we in good faith put Leilani Kai through? Like, I understand Tony's still going and Leilani has the body of work and what she did, but everything Tony's done in these last 2 years has been on a different level with the match quality, what she's able to do, the character work, and it's defining her career. And this is the kind of character and gimmick and moments that little girls are watching right now, that 20 years from now, they're going to be talking about, I watched AEW when it first started, and this is what Toni Storm was doing in the ring. It made me want to do it. And it's not like she can't back it up when she's in there. Every match she's doing, she's getting more and more over. The crowd's getting more and more into it when she's hitting the Storm Zero and doing all of her stuff, the Sweet Cheeks music, all that good stuff. So listen, I know I've said what I said about Leilani Kai, but I think Toni Storm is a no-brainer here, just based on what she's doing and what I know.
There we go. Sorry, we had a little side conversation there. I know that we are all we are going to go way over what we had talked about on time. Would you all be cool with keeping it a panel after the first round
Of the next bracket.
Mhm.
I feel like
What do you mean a panel? Like we're all just talking about it?
all five of us being able to discuss it openly after we've made our initial statements.
And then vote.
Yeah.
If anything, I would say, wait, after initial statements, so we're still going to debate, or
No, we will. The first round, we will have that debate, and then second, third, final, no debate.
Oh
just
yeah, I
panel.
agree with that.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like that's going to help us all out in streamlining this process.
I think that's
Sure.
a lot better. Yeah, I agree with that.
So the vote: Toni Storm and Leilani Kai. Amy, did the team of sharpshooters take their shot and sway you?
Nope. I'm still with Leilani Kai.
Sharpshooters, did Amy sway you?
She did not.
Professor Bear, what's it going to be?
Timeless.
Oh, I'm also going to go with Timeless Toni
We're
Storm.
going with them.
I did look. She
I
got
didn't see that coming.
she got me
Well-
to enjoy women's wrestling.
And I would tell you the reason why. Like Juice Box said, her body of work, even in the last few weeks, when you can take a character and you can fake amnesia, then turn around and spoil your own amnesia with such. How many people get away with saying the things that Toni Storm can say on live TV?
Yeah.
Hundreds.
So Toni is going on to the finals of this. She has won the hold on.
Congratulations to Toni Storm.
To Toni Storm for winning the Stover
congratulations.
bracket there.
It's a great accolade.
Good
for Toni
arguments for
Storm.
everybody. Yeah.
We will
great
send the
accolade.
winner a Teal 5 trophy, and
We
we
will
will hang
send
it
it-
on their mantle.
We will send a Shroot Buck to Toni Storm.
That's right.
So In case you're wondering who all's with us, we are Till 5 Wrestling. We are joined by Amy from Talking Wrestling with Palm Water and Amy. That is right here.
Yes.
Amy, you have the floor to put yourself over a little bit here.
All right. Well, like you said, I am on a podcast. It's Talking Wrestling with Pond Water and Amy. We spend a lot of time talking independent wrestling. My co-host Dave is a independent referee, so he's out and about in all the different promotions. We do talk when there's pay-per-views and that kind of stuff, things that are going on. We do talk that, but we usually try to get an interview in with people that are out there doing it right now in the independents. I'm sorry.
Is he also a Kentucky local?
No, he is actually stationed. He's out of Mississippi. And we have. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Were you in the military?
I was not.
Oh.
I don't know why I said stationed. I don't know.
Enough. Sorry.
No, that's my fault. We go live on Tuesday nights at 6 Central. So that's 7 your all's time. And like I said, you just never know what we're going to be talking about. We also have, you can find us on YouTube. We are pwdpod.com. We also have a group that we work with. It's called Mark Out Moments. And we have some friends of ours that do WCCW flashback. They'll do I was there, just all kinds of different things, all wrestling related, because we all love wrestling, and we'd love for you all to come over and join us sometimes.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you accepted the offer to join us.
Yeah, this is fun.
Been great,
Yeah,
especially
been
the Lilani Kai. Full disclosure, I gave you an opportunity to back out in the chat when you told me that's what you wanted to take. That she would get past the first round. I really didn't.
You did a wonderful job.
Yeah,
wonderful job.
I feel again. I love women's wrestling. I've loved wrestling since, again, like I said, I'm closer to Bear's age probably than anybody else. And I mean, I was watching it in the 80s, and it was magical to me. It really was. I have been a fan since I was a little girl. And I've also know that that's a very unique situation to be a female wrestling fan. That's not as common as it back then, as it maybe is a little bit now. And so I've definitely watched the evolution in a sense. And I'm very happy that the women are out there and they are getting the accolades that they deserve, because they are definitely, sometimes they're the better matches on the show than what some of the stuff that we get these days. So I do appreciate you having me on. I really do. This is fun.
Really great.
We're also joined.
Sorry, really, just before you, like, for what Amy said, when I was a kid, there was this actually girl I remember very specifically. I won't say her name, obviously, but this girl in my 6th grade class who, when she found out I was a wrestling fan, handed me the next day a VHS tape of ECW. And I never looked back from it. I was like, what is, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I looked at her, I was like, your parents let you watch this? And she's like, my dad taped that. Whenever you want more, just let me know. She was one of the biggest fans I ever met in my life. So it was just funny when you said it's like a rarity. She was the one who got me into like a different side of wrestling.
That's our good friend Danny from Sharpshooters. Guys, you all want to put over your good friends Accept the Wind, maybe?
Oh, yes. Juice, I'll let you take this.
Okay. Accept the Wind is the official band of the Sharpshooters. Their new single called Horizon is out now. It just dropped on YouTube. So head on over there. I personally love the song. It makes me think of like I said, like when you're making a creator wrestler in like SmackDown vs. Raw or WWE 2K, and like you got the menu music. Like this song in particular, I think is a pretty good. Like that's what I was vibing and feeling with it. Some of them in there, some of the guys in there are friends of mine from college, but they're all good people. I've seen them live before, so they're the official band of our show. We love having them play their music plays on our show before and after ad breaks. And just to share also a little bit about our show. So we are over on the purple side of things. We air on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Sometimes we do 7 p.m., but it's Tuesdays and Thursdays we air. Tuesday nights, Danny and I, we do a little variety hour, kind of just different things. We play a little like games, we do trivia, we do some card pack on openings for like and whatnot. So yeah, it's a nice little cool variety thing. And it's all wrestling themed. So that's Tuesdays. Then Thursdays is where we kind of sit down and talk about the week that was in wrestling. So we kind of go week to week and we talk about AEW and WWE, and we call the segment Last Point Standing. So we do a little, PTI, right? Pardon the interruption, what they do. So we have a little graphic on the side, showing points we want to talk about. And we do predictions on Thursdays too for pay-per-views and whatnot. So it's cool. We do a little bit of everything. And so we air live on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we also do have a YouTube channel where we put all the past streams up on demand. So again, you can just go on YouTube and look up the Sharpshooters. We do have a link tree as well. I didn't provide it to the folks over at Till 5, but we also do have a Facebook page. So if you're here on Facebook right now and you have a minute or you want to wait till after the stream, you can go over to the Sharpshooters Facebook, and all of our socials are there as well.
Good idea.
And Danny is fantastic. Juice
Danny's
not so much, but Danny is absolutely wonderful. Barrett, it's time for you to have the floor.
Sorry. I realized me for a second. I just really want to say also, Amy, just like you said, we love having guests on, especially for the Tuesday. Till 5 has been guests on with a lot of the different segments we do and stuff. So if anyone would like, we'd love to collaborate and talk to you guys. So hit us up after.
Yeah. Oh, and a quick plug for our most recent episodes we just did. If you want to go to YouTube, we just wrapped up our greatest finishing move of all time tournament.
Oh, okay.
And the winning move was the Stone Cold Stunner. Spoiler alert.
Of course it was.
You'll be surprised some of the moves that actually made it further. I didn't think some of these moves would make it further as far as they did. One very specific one that made it against the Stunner was the shocker to me. So yeah.
And it was a 64 person field, so we go bigger but quicker with our tournaments. But
also with us, he was late to the party, is Professor Bear.
Hey.
Yes, sir. So thank you for having me as always. The WSN is the Wrestling Society Network, where we love wrestling and promote any type of wrestling that's out there. We just have so much fun and enjoy doing it. And my personal podcast is A Bear's Thought. And you never know what is going through my mind at the time. I've talked about the impact of Chris Benoit to spoilers for next week. I'm going to have one of my biggest guests, and that is Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express, and his son Kerry will be on my show.
That's right.
And Chops Trading Cards and Print Demand. As I think a lot of us always like where our favorite wrestlers had trading cards. Well, with Chops, you can create your own and live out your dream. If you're an independent wrestler, you can get your cards made and get them and sign them out to fans. They do wonderful work. They have so many different styles of cards. They are number one in your cards and much more. So check out Chops.
So cool.
And we'll just go ahead and put this out there right now. We do have sponsorships from Dubby for 10% off if you use code TIL5 on any of their products on their website. That's energy drinks. If you want $20 off a $50 and up purchase with SeatGeek, you can also use code TIL5. That's TILL 5. All right.
But before we go, I guess it would help with my sponsors giving my code. It is BUR5.
There we go.
Use the 5.
You're ripping off. Oh, what do you get? 5% off? Or are you just trying to steal our thunder, Bear? Is that what it is?
No, you get 5 bears for the code.
You know, we are only 5 minutes away from Bear's bestie getting off work and might be able to chip in to help him with this next bracket.
Oh, I will say, my friend Ben, he is in Australia, so that's why he's saying good morning to us.
Oh,
Ben.
cool.
All right.
Ben, you'll be
Ben.
happy to know that Tony Storm is going to be on in the finals of this tournament.
That's right. She's gone to the championship round.
Yeah.
You'll also
But
be happy
now-
to know Amy gave Leilani Kai a hell of a run in this tournament.
Yes,
tried.
she did.
All right. So we're going to start off with Bear and Amy here.
Oh, goodness.
Asuka and AJ Lee.
I want Bear to go first.
All right.
Let him go first.
So in the times of the down period of women's wrestling, one young lady exploded on the scene and showed that you don't have to be the biggest, you don't have to be the most muscular person to be a leader. And that's what AJ Lee did with her great gimmick of being the psycho person. She helped elevate and carry WWE women's wrestling for quite a long time and actually made the Divas champion feel important and not just a 2-minute rest fit and you could go to the bathroom. Her creativity of working with some of the bigs, and who would ever forget her and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania getting the kiss for Sheamus to knock him out in 5 seconds. AJ Lee touched so many people and did so much to let little girls know you can do this for real.
You know what? Everything that Bear said is correct about AJ Lee, and her attributes are going to be appreciated in the women's wrestling history. But when you look at Asuka and you look at her body of work, again, you're looking at someone who is a fierce competitor, who is innovative in the ring, who is willing to do whatever it takes. She has worked in multiple promotions throughout Japan. She has won the Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber. She is an NXT champion. She is a WWE Women's Champion. She is a tag champion. She has been a Triple Crown winner. She is a Grand Slam winner. Now, granted, just because you hold a title doesn't mean that you're it. However, it does show a vote of confidence that the company has in you and what you're bringing to the table. And that they knew by allowing Asuka to be their leader, a champion of the women's division, that they were, again, helping to promote and helping to move the women forward.
We were checking out all the cool stuff you have behind you, Amy. Full disclosure.
Oh, yeah. What would you do? Is there anything in particular? I'm a huge Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth fan. So they're up here. I don't know if you noticed, but I am the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club. I don't know if you were aware of that.
Oh.
Yes. And so Arn is right here. I have his television belt. And then FTR, very much a love. And so I have my FTR stuff here and here a little bit. I love women's wrestling. I've got Chyna. I've got Rhea Ripley. I've got Sherry Martel. I just have a little bit of everything. I don't know. I've got
That's
some
awesome.
turnbuckles. Yeah. Like I said,
You noticed the Pinnacle turnbuckle up there?
Yes. Yeah. Is that not wonderful? Oh, I love again, FTR.
I've got an MJF Pinnacle turnbuckle sign.
Oh, yes. Yes. MJF is on here. Wardlow, my friend of mine, Jimmy Sorensen, he got that for me. He's just the sweetest. But yeah, he got that for me because of my love for FTR.
With you saying that, I also, in my background up in the corner, I have the Orrin Anderson Television Championship.
Yes,
We are kindred spirits.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. But Bear, do you have this?
Oh God, what
Joseph.
you got?
Oh wow!
That's awesome.
Yes, it is.
I have him and I have Jim Ross.
I haven't
Little
seen those in a
buddy.
while.
Oh my God! I will have a hunt for it.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Amy, did you say Jimmy or Jesse Sorensen?
Jimmy.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Jesse. I was like, oh, the TNA guy?
Oh yeah, no, Jimmy. He is
All right.
in Nebraska.
I was asking how
Right, cool.
Jesse was doing, to be honest.
Yeah.
So votes: Asuka and AJ Lee.
This is a tough one.
Well, did either of the
We're
people
going.
get swayed that debated?
No, I'm sticking with Oscar.
Bear, you didn't really pick AJ Lee, so
Well, and the thing is, and all honesty, I'm a big Oscar fan. Love her work, her body of work. AJ Lee, I was thrust upon her, but I do believe that she has a good argument. So no, I'm not gonna change.
all right. Sharpshooters.
Yeah, we talked it out, and we're gonna go with Asuka. The main reason we're going with Asuka, which I guess could be brought up in future rounds or in the next round. What do you call it? When we're all talking about it anyway.
Yeah.
The NXT run. I mean, that
Yeah,
alone
absolutely.
is what did it for me. I love AJ Lee, love her, but
So Asuka's clearly
Yeah.
winning the first one here. Oh, wrong bracket.
I was like, we did that.
Uh-oh. It is time
Oh
for
man,
Oh, shit.
Juice Box to argue Mercedes Moné against Becky Lynch.
The Bear has Becky.
Yep.
Oh.
okay. So I know I said what I said about Toni Storm being the greatest and best at doing what she's doing right now, which is absolutely true. I stand by it. But I'm going to come right out of the fences and say it. My personal opinion, I think Mercedes Moné is the greatest of all time. I think she is the one that, for me as a fan, changed the game with wrestling for women. Like Bayley versus Sasha at NXT Brooklyn alone, in my opinion, greatest women's match of all time. Nothing's come close to touching it yet. And the ones that have come the closest have also involved Mercedes Moné. I think, the four horsewomen were there and they all kind of, the ships raised together, the raising tide, whatever that saying is. Charlotte got most of that love up front, but Sasha was right there being put over and getting that kind of groundswell behind her. And even when the pandemic hit, who was there and really stood up during the pandemic? I mean, it was Sasha and Bayley. And the stuff that Sasha did with the tag run and then the heel turn, huge reinvention for her, and got a bunch of tag title reigns. And then after that, going to AEW and completely stepping up and being one of the best going right now. She's getting the run that she's deserved this whole time, because something that hasn't been brought up a lot is the psychology of her in the ring. She knows what she's doing in there. She's a fan of the game. She's a lover of the game. She does it. She sells like nobody else that we've talked about. And she runs her gimmick and people buy it. And
so with Becky Lynch, if you put her body of work against the other three horsewomen, it would be an argument all day. Becky Lynch is the woman of the people. She came up and did so much for women's wrestling. If it wasn't for her taking the messed up punch from Nia Jax and it started the man revolution that I like to call it. She has done so much to help not only put over women's wrestling, but wrestling in general. And look at her and Charlotte and Ronda doing the first women's WrestleMania main event. Her work, her body.
I think they cut him off.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, I want to cut. I'll get my flow on, but that's cool.
That's all right. You and me both there. It's all right.
I know.
If it helps, both got cut off.
I was watching Juice and cracked up because he was like,
I will say before we even dive in farther with rebuttals and votes, in my personal opinion, I think this is the hardest first round matchup.
Yeah,
that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Not to me in the least.
Not to me.
And I know Bear is going to do a rebuttal. Also, just quick rebuttal. Just listen. I get Becky has had like that major run, but Mercedes is also having the major run. And I think the difference for me is that like even at times Becky's gotten a little stale. Fans are turning on Becky not because of like the character, but because Becky herself has gone stale, and it's kind of like her and Seth. They're kind of doing like their own weird like character that they're trying to. I don't know what they're doing, but the point is that Mercedes has really gotten to captivate the audience the entire time because her matches and her quality of work really speaks for herself throughout the entire run, not just parts of it.
Well, I would say, to rebut that, Becky has went up against some of the greatest and has been able to reinvent herself over and over with the character work that she's done. And look at the way that she will easily make the crowd, as I like to call it, the Triple H effect. When she wants you to boo her, she knows quickly how to say it and how to make it seem legitimate. When she wants fan and cheer, she knows how to touch, and not too many people can do that on a consistent basis. And even when she was gone, people were still looking and chanting for her to come back, which is very rare. As I hate to even mention, to the point of a CM Punk chance.
And also keep in mind, to everyone's argument, Mercedes has also done this in WWE, in New Japan, in AEW. She's traveled. She's gone all over the place. She's won championships everywhere also. So, like...
So I'm guessing that neither one of you have been swayed.
No.
No.
Amy?
I'm voting for Mercedes. I think, I hate to be like that, but I think Becky was lucky that she got punched in the face because she was not
absolutely
unfortunate. And it has really trajected her, which is wonderful. I like someone who wants to bet on themselves and step out. And like you said, her going to New Japan, her going to AEW, she had to bet on herself, reinvent. And that's my vote.
Well, I think we're also going to go for Mercedes, and I'm sure that shocks sharpshooters, but actually I'm a really big Mercedes Moné fan. And truthfully, I've never been a Becky Lynch fan. I totally agree with Amy. I think she got really lucky.
Yeah. So
she's definitely the weaker of the four horsewomen in my opinion.
And I would say this, that it was not the punch that made her over, because the fans started chanting for her way before that. And that was her, Charlotte, and Carmelo match, when they ended up having them do the little three-way. 4 people were chanting for Becky. The man movement started way before then, but
thank you for saying that, Bear, because I've been saying that for years, because I was at that show, and that's definitely where it started.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I acknowledge she was getting over before she got punched in the face, but I feel like getting punched in the face is what made her a main event at WrestleMania.
It took her to a different level. It took her to a different level. I think the trajectory for Mania was already in motion with Ronda.
I think it just made it happen quicker, exactly.
But it it blew it all up and got Charlotte.
And let's just say this too.
What?
All right, so continuing on with the Oak Ridge bracket, it's Gail Kim and Charlotte Flair, both of which were picked by Till 5 Wrestling. So, Tanner, I think that Charlotte Flair should advance because she has been the WWE champion several times. She's managed to stay a main event women's professional wrestler, and you can't look at her career at this point and not realize that she is probably the women's GOAT.
Here's the thing, and it's been said time and time again by sharpshooters on the first time we did the tournaments and this time. I don't give a shit about how many championships they won in a company because someone wrote that. I don't care at all. And if you want to get technical on championships, there is no other woman in the history of the early days of the women's championship before it changed of someone winning it on their debut in WWE. And let's not forget that Gail Kim is the entire reason, one of the entire reasons that the knockouts in TNA revolutionized women's wrestling beyond a shadow of a doubt and has worked and done everything she possibly could to get everybody over. She's one of the most selfless women's wrestlers that ever lived. And I think that, to me, she is one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT.
That's ever lived. Tell us.
Did y'all like that? But I just quickly took everybody.
Hey.
Like I was saying, no.
All right. You all, damn it, Tanner, you've swayed me. I think Gail Kim is more important than Charlotte Flair, so that's our vote. Sharpshooters.
Yeah, this is probably the only person in the entire field I'm going to say this about that I believe it. Charlotte Flair sucks. She's not good. And she doesn't do anything for her opponents. It's all about her. She's a very selfish competitor. And that hurts programs, hurts feuds, hurts you as a wrestler and what you can do and accomplish in the ring. I don't think she has any business being in this tournament, despite all the push and title she has. That being said, our vote's Gail Kim.
Yeah, agreed. Charlotte sucks.
Professor Bear.
Let me say it like this. Charlotte Flair is one of the most hated women's wrestlers of all time because of her and how she's stuck in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, it does not take away from she is a great wrestler. She has the persona of a heel, what a heel should be. WWE messes up so much with trying to make her a face. If they would just let her continuously run as a heel, it will be better for Charlotte and for a lot of people. I do argue too that she doesn't put over people. She does so much.
Drafted her.
Wait, I'm not saying this, but after all that's said and done, because a lot of people dog Charlotte, and I get why, but let's be honest, Charlotte is a hell of a wrestler and deserves more. I am going with Gail Kim.
All right.
Luke is a sharpshooters viewer, and he has spoken.
Yeah. Can't stand Charlotte Flair. Amy, Charlotte Flair or Gail Kim?
My vote's for Gail. I do like Charlotte Flair. I do think that she personifies a heel. Like, she does it to me. She does it no better, or she does it better than anybody.
She doesn't have a choice at this point.
Yes. And so but again, you cannot take away Gail Kim, TNA, the things that she's accomplished.
Literally the only sweep of the entire bracket.
Yeah. So I definitely with Gail Kim.
Gosh.
And I wanted to say, just because I didn't really make comment about Charlotte is just, she might be a great heel, but she's too selfish. All the programs on the mic, the way she talks to people, it doesn't work for anybody. So it's great that the fans hate her. The problem is the fans don't hate her because
wrestling should be an art. It should be a dance. It should be two people putting on a show together.
Exactly.
Charlotte doesn't know how to do that if it's not Charlotte going over.
It's literally
for what it's worth, I already know she's out, but just to give one more dagger into her, if you're going to be the greatest of all time, you should be able to be a good face and heel.
That's fair too.
I do think it just again, I'm for Charlotte.
Yeah,
she is written this way a lot of times, So I mean, they perceive her in that way. I don't know, if she's trying to ask to do different things. I have no idea.
Charlotte Flair right now
Mm-hmm.
has the unfortunate position of Roman Reigns
That
pre-COVID.
that is so perfect because I always say Charlotte is the female Roman Reigns. They're gonna push her down our throats until we like her,
and that's how they should give her a mouthpiece, just like they did Roman, because she's not that great on the mic, so she needs something to help her.
And please don't make it her dad.
Oh God!
And I think for her that is a curse and a blessing.
Yeah.
So,
All right, what's the next matchup?
Yes, sorry.
Next matchup is Sharpshooters and Amy. Which one of you is taking her on?
Wait, what's the matchup?
It's Mickey and Kong. Danny, it's you, Danny.
All right.
Let's hear Danny first.
Yeah, I'll go first. All right, so Awesome Kong is one of those, like China, one of those once-in-a-lifetime wrestlers. She's been able to do it across a bunch of different companies. When you think of TNA, you literally think of Awesome Kong. Like, she is one of the faces. I know they do a lot of the men's of Mount Rushmore, but if you want to put a woman in Mount Rushmore, Awesome Kong is there. She came to WWE. Unfortunately, that run fell a little short because of the pregnancy, but even in the month or two that she was on TV and doing stuff, she was a monster. People were legitimately afraid of her. Her presence was always felt. She's a multi-time champion. She's been in countless different great matches. The way she moves for a big woman, she has great psychology. She's just legit one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and she's done it across a bunch of different companies. So I love Awesome Kong. I loved Karma. I loved every version of Awesome Kong, and I think she really deserves to make it.
So my vote is going to be for Mickie James. And the reason why I picked her is because, again, you have someone that has some longevity across some different time periods, promotions. No matter the hardship, she's always pushed forward. Even when she got the crappiest gimmicks, the crappiest stories, she kept moving forward. She's working with the NWA. She's working with OVW to help better, and WWE. We just saw her on whatever it was, the Future, whatever that show was. And she's definitely out there. She's someone that is even honing craft now and helping others, which I think is another important part of being a GOAT, is how are you affecting the future? And so with those things, I think that she should be someone that should be considered in this tournament. The thing that I feel like has hurt Awesome Kong was her WWE run. Not her fault. They ruined that. And so I feel like people did not really maybe get to know her like they should have, and that they may not realize how well she could have done. But the WWE did that to her. She didn't do it to herself.
So in my mind, the only thing that hurts Kong is longevity. Awesome Kong is actually my favorite women's wrestler of all time. So this is a real tough one for me personally.
It's not tough for me because I have loved Mickie James for years and made that very clear. So I'm 100% going to side with Amy.
No, we have to. I mean,
or does Juice have a rebuttal? Sorry.
Yeah. So I do. In terms of being swayed by Amy, no, but yes, because our mind was already made up coming into this. Mickie James. She's probably the only one that we didn't get that we wanted in the draft.
Yeah.
So well done, Amy. But all your points are correct and valid. I'm with you. I love Kong, but I feel like every other month she was hurt or pregnant, and it hurt her. I loved her in the ring, but she never got to really do her thing on the WWE roster, and then even TNA. It didn't work out overall for her.
We don't mention AEW either.
And
Nightmare Collective.
Well, of course, we don't talk about her great run in All Japan. because she had a tremendous run there. But with that being said, both of them are two of my favorite wrestlers. But I have to go with Mickey for what you said, just what she did in the past, what she's doing in the present, and what she's trying to do for the future.
Back-to-back sweeps.
Mickey's. Yeah. So, all right, now we're just going to keep this panel up here. Okay. And all of us are going to be arguing.
Rabble.
We got Gail Kim versus Mickey and Mercedes versus
Asuka.
All right. Mercedes and Asuka. Amy, you have Asuka. What do you think? Do you have anything you need to add to support her against Mercedes Moné?
Again, I think her time in wrestling speaks for itself. Again, multiple promotions in Japan, was able to come over here. Like you said, her NXT run, it should not have ended with Charlotte. I think we all could agree that Charlotte should not have beat her.
Yes.
She could have she was being taken to the moon because she's that good. She's that believable in the ring, and she's that dangerous in the ring. And people were 100% understood that she was giving that aura that she was that good and that she deserved, no one doubted that she should be undisputed, that she should have been the NXT champion, and that she should have kept that, unbeatable streak. I know that she's injured right now, but again, I think that when she comes back, I liked what she was doing with, I didn't like the name, but Kairi Sane is another one of my favorites. And just, I wasn't cool. I didn't really care for that name as much. But the things that they're doing in the ring and the things that they will do to make the match the best it can be, I just feel like Asuka deserves to be in the next round. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
I know Juice probably has some stuff to say, but I'm going to just do some quick points really quick. Is just, I agree with all that. And I love Asuka. Next to Mercedes, and Tony, she's probably like my favorite. But what I feel like hurts her is her actual main roster run in WWE, even when she was healthy. And of course, that's the booking. But like, they just never gave her the ball to run with, like everyone knows they should have. Where Mercedes, everywhere she goes, she's been given the ball and really ran with it. And I think that's the big difference, is that Mercedes has been doing it everywhere consistently, where Asuka, unfortunately, for whatever reason, is a little more stop and go.
Right. And like you said, though, that is the booking, because we all watched NXT, and that's how we wanted Asuka to be when she came up. And so for whatever reason, they didn't treat her like she should have been treated.
Exactly.
I'm assuming you all are keeping your initial picks.
I am. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to add in, I know, in regards to Mercedes, like, because, and by the way, and also, Asuka did get her shot during the COVID era when Becky got pregnant, so that was good for Asuka, at least getting another kind of window, and that's compliment to her. Like, her and Mercedes and Bayley, the three of them kind of really got a good chance to kind of go during that time.
And she was Money in the Bank champ. So
she kind of fell into it timing wise, But no, again, I still stand by Mercedes being the best mind in this tournament in terms of knowing what to do, when to do it, the psychology of just selling. I think that's important. And also, I think in terms of like a body of work, like, it makes me think of Bryan Danielson, where you go, Bryan Danielson can wrestle anybody and give them the best match they can have. He can wrestle a broomstick, is like the saying they do. You can say the same thing about Mercedes. You put her in the ring with any person on the AEW on the roster, they're going to have the best match of their AEW career with her that night. Sky Blue, Yuka Sakazaki, any of these people, like, they know to step up because it's a big deal. And I think that speaks a lot of volumes to Mercedes' character and just talent in the ring and what she can bring out of her opponents. That's my last piece.
All right.
And no, we're not changing our vote.
Yeah. Bear.
Again, Asuka is one of my favorite favorite wrestlers, not female wrestlers of all time. She does so much in amazement. No disrespect to Mercedes. I was really happy that she left the WWE. I love that she gambled on herself. I love that what Juicebox says, she knows she's a leader in that ring. She got hurt mid-match, changed the ending to make it make sense, and help get Willow Nightingale over. That right there speaks volumes to me. And what she's doing now with this gimmick that I want to shove down her throat, that I hate so much, and that's because she wants me to hate it.
Yeah.
And she's one of the greatest.
I do like the Mercedes Moné character, and she's getting my vote. I'm assuming your vote.
I'm going with Mercedes.
So Mercedes is going on to the finals of this bracket, and she's either going to be taking on Gail Kim or Mickie James.
Oh man.
I feel like this is probably the toughest matchup of the whole bracket, genuinely, because while I am a huge Mickie James fan, and she has had accomplishments everywhere, she has helped promote women's wrestling, I do also feel like Mickie has kind of hurt the image of women at points with her attire, I guess, and some of her prior to wrestling career. But hey, if we're gonna dog Playboy for China, we need to talk about Alexis Three's time, because she was doing that kind of stuff that is legitimately porn. So if we want to take that into effect, then we need to take that in for Mickie, as much as I love her. Gail Kim was a relevant performer in every company. She came in and immediately was a main event star in the WWE. She created the women's revolution in the knockouts division, and that is what made it relevant in the WWE. So I feel like Gail Kim has to get our vote.
For sure.
Amy?
Between Mickie James and Gail Kim, I'm going Gail Kim.
Whoa!
Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah, I think I wanted Gail Kim too. That was one of my picks, but I didn't get to her. But
we wanted to take.
Yeah, that was our 1 and 2 from day one.
Yeah,
like we love both of those.
I definitely think. I'm not really for sure what all you were talking about with Mickie James, because shocker, I don't watch porn. I don't really know.
Before she got into being relevant in wrestling, she had done some porn magazines, web photos.
You gotta pay the bills. I'm not gonna judge, but I do think what you were saying about Gail Kim is very relevant. And again, you're going to you're leaving the WWE and you're going to a smaller company, and you are working your ass off to make that division what you envisioned a women's division to be. The knockouts, making it what it was, and again, helping that women's revolution. So I do what?
They built the entire division around Gail.
Exactly. So Gail Kim has my vote.
Sharpshooters.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Mickie. Wow. I mean, I won't speak fully for Danny here, but at least my opinion on Gail Kim. If we're talking about greatest wrestler of all time, the whole package of everything, I can't stand her on the mic. Her charisma, I think that's a huge thing for her. At least Mickie, like she was always comfortable in whatever character she was portraying, whether it was the coming out of a cannon in WWE, being the psycho stalker of Trish, and then while everything kind of Vince being Vince with Mickie in WWE, when she went to TNA, completely saved her career and revitalized it, and did just as much. I think, Gail and Kong set that kind of groundwork for what the women's division would be and mean more. Mickey was right there though, and longer, in my opinion, with TNA.
Well, she was she was right there with Victoria as the B+ person, the Gail and Austin.
Yeah, and one thing I'll add, and this is more like a professionalism kind of thing, in my opinion, is they've all been under that Vince McMahon bullshit.
Yeah.
Gail Kim threw a lot of temper tantrums. I don't remember Mickey just eliminating herself from a battle royal. I don't remember Mickey just kind of phoning it in. And Mickey arguably got the worst of those kind of promos and packages. And everyone remembers Piggy James. Like, that was disgusting. But she still went full force with that. Like, she was more professional. So that's why I kind of go with Mickey.
This is an argument I'm not going to be mad if I lose. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm just.
Yeah. I like that Amy flipped to Gail. Bear.
So let me say this. Mickey is not the only one that did some racy content in her day.
Ooh, and Gail Kim, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, really quick, that also doesn't bother me.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. None of that matters.
Come on.
Look,
but I just wanted to be fair.
Oh my God. Something to dog the woman about. She's a great worker.
Well, the thing is, too, I just wanted to be fair because a lot of people, and let me say this, because every time any women do anything, wear anything tight or whatever, we always want to quickly throw a negative connotation on them. But let's focus on what they did. Gail Kim helped TNA become the number 2 promotion and arguably number 1 in women's wrestling. For the longest time, if it wasn't for Gail Kim and Awesome Kong and the beautiful people, WWE wouldn't have their women's division as tight as it is today.
Yep.
Because they learned, hey, they are athletes. We don't have to try to keep selling sex appeal. They're actually athletes. And with that being said, I'm going Gail Kim.
All right, Gail moves on.
Gail Kim moves on.
Oh, by the way, I do love Mickey, but
I love Mickey too.
I do too.
For Christmas this year, I got an Alexis Lurie autographed 8x10. Okay, it's
early TNA ROH days. I found it for you. Hard thing to find where she'd actually signed it. Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm perfectly fine losing that one. Now, the finals here. Are we at the finals? Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Mercedes and Gail.
Kim.
We can vote.
We can go ahead and vote. I feel like we've already. Well, I'm going to say this. I feel like Mercedes is not as good of a wrestler as Gail Kim. I'm just going to make that statement.
Whoa.
That's my opinion.
And if you want to talk about professionalism, Mercedes walked out of WWE.
Yeah, world champion. Literally, Mercedes.
I'm just
cried,
back on
threw a little hissy fit and walked away.
So that's a wash. They both did it.
All right, can we pause? Can we pause really quick?
No, Gail wasn't champion.
No,
Gail was not a centerpiece.
This has to stay.
Centerpiece.
Guys,
calm down with that.
This has to stay about the greatest wrestler, not their attitudes and all that other crap. It has to be about the wrestler and their body.
I brought it in. That's my fault. I'll admit that.
Can we please not go there? Like, don't like we're in the final ones. Like, let's just.
It's relevant.
I disagree.
It's extremely relevant. Because if Mercedes hadn't threw a hissy fit about dropping the women's tag team titles, she might have stayed in the WWE instead of sitting at home for a year until they let her go to AEW.
But can we also hold on? Can we also realize that they both
she wasn't getting over in the WWE?
They both took the same exact path where they both said, "I'm done with this." They both walked out. And they both went to a different company and made a better women's division that's rivaling WWE in their time.
But Gail Kim did not walk out.
How about this?
Is better
Bear and I are the 2 votes, correct? I'm assuming.
Right.
Yes.
So why don't we let us answer?
I agree.
And then if it is still split, you can argue. How about that?
Right. I like that.
All right.
I'm going with Gail Kim.
I'm going with Monet.
So we have a tie.
Woo! So this goes to the fans. So I guess how long do they
and I would say
argue for
and
that
I would say this, the main reason why
208. We can keep arguing here till 208 on our ticker.
I was gonna say the difference for me is yes, the walking out, everybody has attitudes, all of that. But for the body of work that Monet has been doing for the last 2 years, it's been phenomenal. And I think as much as Gail put TNA on the map as far as women's wrestling, Monet is putting women's wrestling up into another stratosphere.
Anything that Mercedes had done until the last 6 months, phenomenal. Mercedes has managed to either botch a move or give a horrible promo. Left and right.
What horrible promos are you talking about? They
literally
just had one of the best promos.
Can I step in? I want to step in while we have a minute and your viewers are watching. Okay. Gail and Mercedes, you got to go head to head. Take their in-ring work, then take their promo work, their presence, and their aura, those things. Now, on the mic, some people don't like Mercedes on the mic. I think her being who she is and that kind of that drawl and accent to her gives her that character and that kind of unique voice to listen to. Gail Kim never had that confidence in her promos and what she was saying. In the ring is completely subjective. Obviously, I like Mercedes more in the ring. I think that you look at the greatest match in women's history. Like I really do think Bayley and Sasha is that freaking great. Like I can't think of a Gail Kim match that's anywhere close in that atmosphere. I'm not shooting down her in-ring work. Her in-ring work is good. I like it. I'm just not a huge Gail Kim fan myself. And then just the aura and the presence. Like what does Gail Kim like give you when she comes out? What is she presenting to you as a character work to go up against? I just think in every facet of it, I think Mercedes has the tick.
Not being a jerk, name me the best Gail Kim promo. Name me one good Gail Kim promo. I'm not being a jerk.
I know. And I think one of the things, again, when I'm looking at greatest of all time,
I give her the mic every week.
The adversity, again, what has Gail Kim had to do? Mm-hmm. Like, again, she found herself in the WWE where maybe women's wrestling was not where she thought it needed to be and what she was capable of doing and showing. So she went to a secondary promotion and she built that from the ground up with another person. So her perseverance and the adversary that she had to go through, again, to me, and I'm not saying Mercedes has had it easy, but what I'm saying is that to me, Gail is in that category of greatest of all time because she has not had it easy the whole time. And again, realistically, Mercedes Monet, she has had a great run in NXT and went up to the WWE. She left on her own accord because she wanted to. She went to All Japan. Great matches. But again, where is the stepping out into an unknown like Gail Kim did? She bet on herself. And Mercedes bet on herself too. But again, the time was
bet on herself different. To a billionaire already on national television.
The situation was, and again, that's because of the time periods. But the situation, it was very different. But Gail had to bet on herself in possibly losing it all. Mercedes never had that.
Naomi made the same bet on herself that Gail did. And Mercedes could have made that same bet and tried to win and elevate another company. Instead, she went for the bigger paycheck.
But the argument,
bigger paycheck.
Well, I was going to say this too. Monet did it where she went overseas, and y'all say she didn't. She didn't have a harder time. She did because we
are past the point. Mercedes won.
Well,
y'all picked up on that. So speaking of Naomi, we have mentioned several times Jazz. Are there any other women that you feel like we need to discuss that didn't make the bracket?
Sherry
Either
Martel.
bracket.
Sherry
The what?
Martel should have been up there. She should have been in there.
Yeah.
Bailey, where was Bailey?
Well, to be honest, I think Bailey is like the second weakest of the four of them. So if like she's not going to be the best of the four horsewomen, I don't know. I do agree, Sherry. I love Sherry. I'm surprised she wasn't on there.
Sherry
Jazz, I'm a big fan of too.
Sherry was one vote away.
Okay, what about oh goodness, my brain just froze.
I would have liked.
She was the manager of Harlem Heat. She was
That's Sherry Martel.
no, cruiserweight champ.
Miss Jacqueline.
Jackie Moore. How in the hell Jackie didn't make it?
I voted for
Miss Texas.
Well,
I mean, her body of work is really just crazy.
42-time champion.
me.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know who it was, but she was only on 2 of
I
the
voted for her for sure.
and she was legit a badass. Like I was
Oh,
terrified. She would kick any. Oh my god.
Wendy Richter got as many votes as Sherry Martel. And other than that, most of them only got like 4 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Can we all take a minute to thank Stephanie McMahon though for
Yeah.
creating women's wrestling for
Well,
getting
hell, this should have been a 2-minute show because she's the greatest of all time.
Just by herself. She does reality TV. She's a host. She's the CEO. She does it all.
She's screwing Hunter. I mean, hell.
Just in case it wasn't obvious for any of your viewers, I'm absolutely joking. Just want to cover it.
I do think Kairi Sane could have been on that list also. I think that she's definitely someone who, again, she's in the same spirit of Asuka, innovative, doing things that, in the ring, making her opponents look better. I think that you all have mentioned that. I think that, again, that is an important piece of it.
What about, and I know y'all probably going to shit on me when I say this, but what about Natty? For as long as she's been
100%.
around and the people she's helped build up over the years?
To be honest with you, Bear, I liked Natalya when she first started. I really think that's another product of really shitty WWE booking. That like she could have been really good. She's a good technical wrestler, but they just screwed up so much stuff.
Right.
You know what though? I think we're going to see a lot. You see how now she's doing, different things now.
Oh well.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. The NWA Crockett Cup with her and the NWA Women's Champ.
Who is the who does the blood bath? What is that called? I can't think of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. Without the ring, the ones that doesn't have the ropes. Bloodsport. Thank you. I think we could, since I'm assuming we will maybe do this again. I think Natalya might make that list because, again, I think she's betting on herself now. She's doing those kind of things that are pushing her out there, and like Bloodsport, NWA Crockett. I think we might be starting to see some things out of her.
Go ahead.
I have one more name I just want to throw out there. I don't think she's the greatest of all time, but I feel she deserves flowers for her contributions. Sarah Del Rey.
Oh, hell yeah.
From Ring of Honor and just her time backstage doing stuff. So just someone I think is awesome. But
and look at what she did in that period when women's wrestling was bra and panties matches. She had some of the greatest matches. And how in the hell we're not talking about Athena?
Yeah, Athena.
I was really surprised Athena didn't make it. We even did a segment because we expected her to make it.
Yeah. And then one more that I know why she didn't make it because of longevity. She got injured and stuff. But Soraya or Paige, however you know her, like that's another big one for me that like I loved her. So
she was on my list.
I would think her is overrated, honestly.
The finals here, folks.
Yeah.
It is Mercedes Moné and Timeless Tony Storm. Sharpshooters has both of them.
All right, so I'm just gonna go first. I'm gonna sit out. these are my two like favorites clearly,
Yeah, man.
and there's nothing more I can say.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Me and Juice are so like these are, and when we did our greatest women's of all time, these made the top 4. Like these are two of our favorites, and we're just happy that they got this far. So we're not going to be unhappy whoever wins, but we're literally going to leave it to you guys and just leave it as a tiebreaker, 2 out of 3.
All right,
Interesting.
Amy.
Yeah.
I'm going Tony Storm. I'm not. I do appreciate Mercedes Moné. I'm not as high on her as everyone else. And again, I just think that Tony has taken such a step with this timeless gimmick, and it could have been a disaster, but she has really created it. Like you all said, she has become the, I mean, I don't really know what John Moxley and all that stuff is going on. I'm watching for timeless Tony Storm.
Absolutely.
I'm watching AEW, and I never know what she's going to do or say, and I'm enthralled. So for that reason, I am going to say I want.
I'm sorry. That comment is so ridiculous.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying is Tony Storm. That's hilarious.
That was pretty good.
Well, Bear.
It's easily to say Tony Storm and we talk about people betting on themselves. We have not mentioned Tony betted on herself when she left WWE.
Well, was she technically released? I thought she was released.
No, she has. She has been released.
Oh, she did. Okay.
They granted it to her. But
either way, you're right.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, again, like I've said before, she is a great wrestler. She was always a great wrestler to me, but the character work I argue anyone to come up with someone who's been doing the damn promo work that Timeless has done. No matter what you're doing, you will stop to hear what she's going to say and how she's going to say it. She's put over people easily just in promo work. Joe, that's what I'm talking about.
Finally, after 2 weeks, I have internet back home.
Those WSN guys have no idea how to show up on time. It's so crazy.
Well, you know what, Tanner? Some of us have real jobs, so shut up.
Hey, I have a real job too, Joe, that I go to all the time, man.
Well,
we work from home most of the time.
Well, okay, you got me there. Who was it? Tony Storm and who? Who you guys? What's the?
It's Tony, but Tony's won. It's
obviously it's Tony Storm. She's timeless. Come on.
Yeah. It's guys, it has been fun, and gal, Amy, we have really enjoyed this.
Yeah, Amy, it's been great. I hope you come back.
Thank you.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Wait, I'm sorry, till 5. If I missed it, did you guys technically vote or no?
Even if we didn't,
Tony.
it didn't matter.
It's Tony.
Okay, you guys would have done Tony.
I would have voted for Tony.
I would have voted for Tony.
That's all I was curious.
I am a Mercedes fan. I know I give you a lot of shit, but I actually am, and I think it's very interesting that the all-in match is Tony and Mercedes, and that's where we ended in the bracket.
Who booked
So
this?
I guess I'm going to have to send Shroot Bucks to Timeless Tony Storm, Mercedes Moné.
That's right.
Can you write that their care of Juicebox, please?
Look, I will personalize Mercedes care of Juicebox.
Yes, please. Yeah. Thank you.
Whoa. All right, guys, gal, it's been fun. Thank you all to our viewers, commenters.
So before we go, when are we doing the tag teams? When?
We are planning that. We are planning that. We were talking about that earlier today.
Now listen.
Wait until
I already know the tag teams is going to be a problem.
Hold on. We'll talk about this. I'm going to end the stream, but just hang out, guys.